This is Adam Taxon, main administrator for the Daily Beck page on Facebook. Here's a story that I don't think is going to have that many legs and that we're going to be talking about too much by even the end of this week. But from this past Friday, June 8th, 2012, the second hour of the Glenn Beck program, Glenn has an interesting reaction to the so-called scandal about Barack Obama saying his wife Michelle doesn't go down all the way. He was talking about push-ups. He was talking in front of a gay audience, and it was interpreted to mean something else. Now, Rush Limbaugh talked about that, and while he wasn't that critical of Obama for saying the statement, he certainly wasn't that generous either, and I have a clip of that up elsewhere. But, he said the main issue was Michelle's lack of dignity, basically, in just going to the ground and doing push-ups on Ellen DeGeneres' show. But Glenn Beck is a little more charitable here toward Barack Obama, and have a listen.
I want to show you exactly why the likable candidate always wins. And I'm going to show you in a story that is being misread by the media. What a surprise. But actually misread and misreported by the media against the president. Let's do what we always do and we never get credit for. Let's actually defend the president of the United States on something that is being misinterpreted by the media. Is he's speaking to a very big gay rights group. He said this line the other night.
I want to thank my wonderful friend who accepts a little bit of teasing about Michelle beating her in push-ups. But I think she claims Michelle didn't go all the way down. That's what I heard. I want to set the record straight. Michelle outdoes me in push-ups as well.
Okay. It's even more telling when you see the video and you see the expression on his face. He doesn't know what they're laughing about.
Yeah,
he has no idea.
He doesn't have. I give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. That
he doesn't get it.
He doesn't know what they're laughing about. He means pushing, doing push-ups and going all the way down to the ground. And of course, others could interpret that differently. And if you hadn't seen the president's face when he said that, and he's hearing them laugh, you don't know. You might not give him the benefit of the doubt.
And, thank goodness the president of the United States didn't mean it that way. I hope we're not to that point yet. I mean, while I think a lot of things about this guy, I'm glad that we're not at that point where he's doing jokes that are that sick.
Now, here's what I want to point out to you. This is why someone who can image themselves or use double meaning language or vague language can win, and usually will win every single time. Here's an audience that is a gay rights audience, so that that phrase, that joke would be commonplace, or that phrase might be commonplace in their mind if somebody's making a joke. Somebody's making a joke, somebody's doing that. That's not necessarily an offensive comment. I think it would be even to anybody coming from the president, but it's part of the culture. I don't think it is part of the culture necessarily for the president to be thinking that way, et cetera, et cetera. So people hear that joke and they just assume, oh yeah, well, we're in a gay rights group, and so somebody's making a joke, and so it would be a gay joke or whatever, and so we get that joke, and oh yeah, it's great, but he didn't mean it that way. It's the same thing that happened when the president says things that sound like they're capitalist in nature. Look at his actions. He's not a capitalist. But we see in others what we see in ourselves. We hear what soundtrack is playing in us when people are vague. That's why change and hope worked. because it meant 8 different things to 8. As long as you don't define it, you let the individual define it. All you have to do is be likable. Convince people you're just like them. You and I speak the same language. You and I think an awful lot alike. Hey, we got hope, right? Change is coming. Now, I could say that. If you didn't know me, I could say that to any crowd. I could go and say that to Frances Fox Piven, and she'd say, you're exactly right, brother. Change is coming. And then I could go over to Rush Limbaugh's house and say, we're an awful lot alike. We think alike. I got hope, man. Change is coming. And he'd say, oh, that is right, my friend. Change is coming. And they'd both think that I was just like them. Well, I can't be like both of them, now can I? That's why specific questions have to be asked by the leader of the free world, or to the leader of the free world. We have to know what do you mean by change? What do you mean by hope? And it also is important to not just assume somebody is just like you, because most likely they're not. Unless all of a sudden we've been all issued numbers and we're all just coming off the assembly line exactly alike. We have to know what sets us apart, what makes people different, what makes people tick. And what do you mean specifically by your language?